Hello students. So up till now we have discussed about the Coulomb's law and electric field intensity. Now today we will introduce one more concept, that is uh, electric flux density and Gauss law and divergence. So let us first see about the electric flux density. So the various possible charge distributions and corresponding field intensities, as we have discussed in the previous chapter. Another important concept is in the electrostatic is electric flux density, that is electric flux. So if the unit test charge is placed near a point charge, it experiences a force. The direction of this force can be represented by lines radially coming outwards from the position of positive charge. So these lines are called stream lines or flux lines. So thus electric field due to the charge can be imagined to be present around it in terms of a quantity called electric flux. So the flux lines give the pictorial representation of distribution of flux around a charge. So therefore in this case we study about the electric flux density and electric flux, Gauss law and divergence. So about 1837, director of Royal Society in London, Michael Faraday, was interested in static electric field and effects of various insulating material on these fields. This led to his famous invention, the electric motor. Now he showed that electric field around a charge can be imagined in terms of presence of lines of force around it. He suggested that electric field should be assumed to be composed of very small bunches containing a fixed number of electric lines of force. Such a bunch or a closed area is called as tube of flux, and the total number of tube of flux in any particular electric field is called as electric flux. So he also found that if he moved a magnet through the loop, and electric current flowed in the wire, the current also flowed if the loop was moved over a stationary magnet. So changing magnetic field produces an electric field. So this, in his experiment, a pair of concentric metal spheres constructed, you can observe in this figure, the outer one consisting of two hemispheres that could be firmly clamped together. He also prepared shells of insulating material or a dielectric material which would entirely occupy the entire volume between the concentric sphere. So this experiment he did. So minus q charge outside plus q charge inside, and in between them a dielectric material is there, the insulating material is there. So here Faraday had found out that there was a sort of charge displacement from inner sphere to outer sphere, which was called independent of the medium. So we refer to this flow as displacement or displacement flux or simply electric flux. Therefore psi is called as equal to electric flux, which is nothing but charge enclosed in the sphere. So therefore total number of lines of forces in any particular electric field is called electric flux, and it is represented by psi, and its unit is coulomb, which is nothing but charge on the inner sphere. Right? Now before going to the electric flux density, let us see some of the properties of electric flux. The first property is of electric flux is the electric flux starts from positive charge and it terminates on the negative charge. Second one is, if negative charge is absent, the flux lines terminate at infinity, while in the absence of positive charge, the electric flux terminates on the negative charge from the infinity. This second point. Third point, there are more number of lines, that is crowding of lines, if the electric field is stronger. These lines are, fifth one is, these lines are parallel and never cross each other. These lines are independent of medium in which charges are placed. The lines always enter or leave the charged surface normally. And finally, if the charge on the body is plus or minus q, the total number of lines originating or terminating on it is also equal to q. So total number of lines is nothing but a flux. Therefore, E is equal to q numerically. So hence, electric flux is also called as displacement flux. The flux is scalar field. Right? Now, here, so next, this is about electric flux. Next, if you want to define electric flux density, we need to consider 2 point charges, positive and negative. The flux lines originate from positive charge and end up to negative charge. The unit surface area in between this positive charge and negative charge is considered. The number of flux lines passing through this surface. Net flux passing normal through the unit surface area is called as electric flux density. It is denoted by D. It has a specific direction which is normal to the surface area under consideration, hence it is a vector field. So if you formulate that in a vector field, D will be equal to d psi by ds into unit vector an. That is, unit is coulombs per meter square. Now if I consider the surface of inner sphere, psi coulombs of electric flux are produced by given charge q coulombs and distributed uniformly over a surface having an area of 4 pi a square. So the density of a flux at this surface is psi by 4 pi a square or q by 4 pi a square coulombs per meter if you consider a sphere. So the direction of D at a point is direction of the flux lines at that point. The magnitude of D is given by number of flux lines crossing the normal. Now referring to the concentric sphere, electric flux density is in the radial direction. For inner sphere it is D at R is equal to a q by 4 pi a square AR inner sphere, B q by 4 pi b square a square outer sphere, and at a distance r between, that is a and b, it will be D is equal to q by 4 pi r square AR. If we make the inner sphere smaller and smaller, it becomes a point charge while still retaining a charge of q. Thus the electric flux density at point r meter away is still given by same. Now comparing this with previous chapter, the radial electric field intensity of the point charge in a free space is given by E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square AR. The difference between E and D is just this one. So D is nothing but equal to epsilon E. So that is one of the difference relationship between you can obtain between D and E. So D equation you already know previously, this one, and you can see here E equation for previous case. So hence the relationship between this D and E is D is equal to epsilon naught E, or this is for free space. If you want medium which is located other than free space, then it will be D is equal to epsilon E. So some of the following observation can be made from this. Those are D and E should be in both in a same direction. If you want to relate these two, D and E are related through permittivity of the medium in which charge is located. Second one. Third one it is. Now third one, though the relationship is considered a point charge, the result is equally applicable for all general charge distribution, that is line charge, surface charge and volume charge. The electric field E due to any charge configuration is a function of permittivity epsilon, while electric flux density is not. So these are the some 4 important observations made while obtaining the relationship between D and E. So this relationship is very advantageous while solving the problem on multiple dielectrics. Now similarly, you can also obtain the equation for a general volume charge distribution in free space, that is E is equal to integration over volume rho V dV divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square AR, and here in D just epsilon naught is removed. And for line charge it is E is equal to rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught r AR. For D it is rho L by 2 pi r AR, epsilon naught is removed. And for surface charge it is just E is rho S by 2 pi epsilon naught AN, and for D is rho S by 2 AN. So this is about the electric flux density.